Hi, you guys. It's Acrylic Painting Monday with Ginger Cook, and I'm excited to continue our theme this month on, painting the old dead guys, the artists from the past. So today we're going to be doing an impressionist painting of a couple gals in a little boat, and it's by an artist you may have already been familiar with named Frieseke or Frisk. And we'll put a little bio later about him on the show. This is one of those, you just put a drop of paint down and then do another one and another one. Plop, 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 plop. There's not a lot of this. There's plop, plop, plop. And if your brush is too wet, it's just going to run, not look good. So you got to understand that these paintings originally were done when we're talking about the old dead guys, the stuff over 100 years ago when the Impressionists were in their own element. They were doing a lot of this outside with oil paints, and even though it was on an easel, because oil paints are so thick, there was no running. So when you're painting an impressionistic style with acrylic paints, you got to make sure that you have a dry brush and a good heavy body paint, and that will make a difference. Or add a medium to it. So we'll talk more about that in the show. I think you're going to be excited to see this. I think you're going to be surprised how simple it is, even though some of you say, oh, I do some of her tutorials, but they just look hard. We make the hard look easy. Ooh. Follow along and see what we're going to do next. Ha-ha.
Gliding on down, boss.
All right, so you can see, look at that. See the two little gals in a boat? Now, what I want you to notice a couple of things. The brightest blue, the sort of royal blue color, is on her dress and on these leaves right here. Now, of course, and he was sitting there out painting. There was no blue leaves. This is what we call artistic license. And that's one of the things that kind of differentiates the person from just staring at a photograph and saying, well, it was in the picture, that's why I put it, right? And then this is how I'm feeling. You see the design of this. Notice that the reflections in the water are lighter than the colors of on the dress, all right? And that all these greens, like for instance, this sort of moss green, that's a grade green. And we're going to be using Salvador paint today because it has a lot of colors. And if you're not, and it's if you're going to be doing this, I think you're going to like all the colors. You can just see all the colors we've got. But if you didn't have it, I'll tell you the colors you would normally use. They're pretty much standard, but I think you're going to enjoy these. I think you're going to enjoy painting this easier than you thought. It's going to be easier than you thought. And in the meantime, because this is a premiere, I'll be chatting right along with you. I want to thank our mods for joining us. And John and I will chat their names and say hi in the chat because since we're doing this ahead of time, I don't know who's here.
They're all there.
But we know for sure that you have already subscribed to this channel. Of course, you must have. But if you haven't, now would be the time. And, of course, we appreciate the likes. All right, let's get right down to it.
We appreciate the likes.
I've got a little, what size is this, John?
It's going to be a 9x12.
9x12. And I want to just go ahead and transfer this on. I'm using white Sorel transfer paper. And let's make sure we have the correct side down. That's all. It's good to check that ahead of time. You know that, right? So let's just see. Did we have the correct side down? Oh, we do. Okay. So then we're going to line this up like this and just tape it down to the canvas. Where this is going to take a little bit of thought is that there's just a lot of little dabs of paint, okay? And look at the color underneath the color. We've started off with some sort of kind of a gray-blue light canvas. Any kind of blue canvas would be fine. Just, kind of keep it on the light side. And people say you have to do an underpainting. Yeah, because if you don't, the white canvas is going to show through. In acrylic paints, they don't bond as easily, okay? So you sure want to do that. Now, all I'm going to do is trace on the boat and the gals, all right? I guess I got that in the paint. Look at that. How did I do that, John?
No comment. I plead the fifth.
All right, fine. All right, now let's see. Is that even transferring through? I'm going to go through this again. Yeah, I can see it. All right, so here we go. I'm rubbing pretty hard and back and forth on the lines, all right? It's a light blue, so it's a little bit more of a challenge to get this in here. Let's see if this, yeah, it's still showing up. So here's our boat. I want to have a note of caution in case you were thinking about taking a boat out into the water in long dresses. I hope you stay in the boat. Standing up is a very bad idea.
Where's our life preservers?
No life preservers here. I mean, these gals were taking their life in their own hands. I'm telling you what.
Now, this is partial of the full painting. We cropped it in.
Yeah, there's more. Now, if you want to see the entire painting, we'll have that reference on our website also. And
we felt this is what we wanted to focus on.
Yeah, and also we don't on a YouTube show, we don't have time to be painting hours of stuff. We can't do that either. But we have a lot of the old dead artists on our website and on YouTube. We've got Van Gogh and Renoir and their artwork. That the artists aren't there, obviously, but the artwork is. How are we doing with the transfer? Well, I can see where I'm going to have to go over this a little bit with. I want the general shape of this, the outline of these figures. Then I can go back with a colored pencil and kind of get them in again, right? Because I mean that's pretty.
And they don't have a lot of detail, the ladies.
No, they don't. This is just, we're going to do this very simply. If you want to take more time and do a little bit more detail than I'm going to give you today, but I'm certainly going to explain how you would paint this. Remember on YouTube, we have something called Mrs. Mott and her dog, and she's in a boat. We've got a few of these that would all go together. There was a tendency for this group of artists to all kind of do the same thing. They all were inspired by each other. And for instance, you would have thought this was more like Monet. For instance, it'd be the person you would have thought about this. Yeah. So I think while I'm doing this, I'm going to go ahead and before I take this off, I'm going to go ahead and take the pencil and mark where I think I am. Let's see what as I'm drawing this, what I'm missing. Okay, here's the umbrella. In case I'm missing anything that I don't understand. Does that make sense?
Value.
Yeah, I don't want to lose the picture because the main thing is the boat and the people. The rest of it's pretty easy. I think. Here's a seat back here. Those are just some small things. Okay.
More important if they sit down.
Yeah, there'd be that. Okay, so now we're going to just. What else am I missing here that I could do? Well, you really just see the bank along here. All right, from behind the boat. That's probably the only thing we need over here is that bank. I think we're pretty good, you guys. We'll just we're gonna call it.
I'm gonna go for it.
Drawn in here, right? Okay, so what do we know for sure? Well, we know that that these people we need to get these people in, right? So let's just take a moment and put them in before we lose them. As opposed to they're not going to wander off the canvas, but I want to do some stuff. I want to make sure I have some of this purple color out. This is their blue-violet. And put that over here, I think. And I want white. A little bit of blue-violet and white. I'm using titanium white from golden. But other than that, this is our blue. This is our purple umbrella right here. And it goes back here like so. Okay. And then she's got a purple dress on. That's pretty easy to do, like that. She's got, her arm comes out there, and there's her dress. And So that's, I mean, obviously there's more colors going on in this. And then let's see, I want a little bit of magenta. There's some in the, I think this is magenta right here, and I want to add to that. Okay, so this is a little darker here. Here's some colors. Here's this umbrella back down here underneath the boat. And then we've got some purple, kind of a little bit more blue in that purple, little purple on her dress coming down here. A little magenta.
You're down in the reflections.
Just in the reflections. I don't want to lose these right here, so I'm just going to go ahead and, even though this is a lot darker than I want it, I'm going to go ahead and put that in because, like I say, I don't want to lose that. These reflections. Now we're going to do this very quickly, and again, we're not trying to copy his exactly, but we're going to copy the technique he used to do this. And I want to put in some stuff that this is just almost like Cliff Notes, what I'm doing here. So the back of this boat right here is like this. There's the back of this boat. It's kind of an ultramarine blue color. Back here like that. There's the back. And there's a little bit of dark right in here. There's going to be some seats there. There's something dark right here. It's almost, let's put a little red with that because I know that's pretty dark. Well, it's almost black, so we're just going to put that dark color right there. And then we know we've got something dark. Put a little blue right here with this. This is my Cliff Notes for my boat, okay? Makes sense? Make sure we have that in there. And then we've got let's see what, oh yeah, so we want some dark brown for her hair like that. So we're going to come up here and just put her hair on. And this lady's got a dark brown hat on the underneath side, so we'll put that. It's actually going to be blue, but right now I'm just going to put it like that. There's the hat. Again, Cliff Notes, right? That's all I'm doing is Cliff Notes. Because that's all I need to do, right? And her reflection on her hair down here is kind of in the blues. Got a little blue in it. And this is fun because it's like doing a puzzle. If you like puzzles, something like this is very much like doing a crossword puzzle. Okay? Very much. Or like doing just a jigsaw puzzle. Very much like that. Because you see how we've just kind of cemented that in there. Just nothing too scary. But we're just doing a few, like I say, little Cliff Notes. We know it's kind of dark under the bottom of this boat. We'll just go ahead and put that in there like this. Yeah, maybe I like that color. Let's just do that. Let's just color this boat in. And we'll just put in a kind of a gray-blue color. Not this final color. Again, because this is very light up here next to the gals. It's very light if you'll notice the picture. But we can put the if we do this like that, we make sure that what we don't want to do is lose the image. So that's a little bit darker blue. Maybe these two blues together. Let's make this a little darker under here where it's reflecting down like this. And there's this darker line right here like that. Then we're back up to this lighter blue again for this part. We're saying that there's our boat. Just kind of do it this way. Because as we get painting this, we're going to paint this really fast. But we need to get some basic stuff in there so that as we start winging our way around this boat, that we want to make sure that we then see the back of this boat went like this, and then it went up like that. And then there was, if you'll remember, Well, you don't have to remember it all. You've got a reference photo sitting right in front of you. So there you go, right there. So I think I can live with that. Then I know that I've got this kind of line like this. This is kind of the edge of my water here. Okay. Yes. And oh yeah, what about her? This other dress over here. Let's do her. So take a little bit of this blue here like this, and just say that there's her. Oh, it's more of an ultramarine blue. Okay, there's her dress here and her shoulders. It's going up to her hair like that, something like that. Okay, so that's her dress there. Let's do this right here. So all we have to do is just put in the basics of this and make sure you're getting the shapes right. Yes and yes, get those shoulders in there. Get that over here like this. And we're going to do this. Now, John, who's our, I know we've had some questions come up this week about, do you remember what what people have been asking us a few questions? Or what that was?
Well, the last one I see come in is, we get this a lot. We have a painting that we did as a 20 by 20. And we'll have one of our members write in and say, well, I happen to have a 20 by 24 painting or a canvas. Can I use it?
And what do we write back to them?
Well, you're changing the design. You're just changing the design of what we've created. So you have to make up those extra 4 inches, either on the top, the bottom, the side, somewhere. You're missing 4 inches. And you have to be, as the artist, you have to decide if you're going to be able to add what's missing. And are you changing really the rules of the viewers?
Yeah, you can't be changing the design, and you can't take a little 6x8 picture and decide it would be great 48 by 60 because there's not enough information in it. The little tiny paintings that we do on YouTube are not meant to be giant. Most of them, some you can, but ask first, because some just won't. And when you try to make them bigger, you don't have enough information. It just looks odd. Also, when you're learning to paint something, don't find the biggest canvas you own. Do it small, see how it goes, and then do it bigger. All right, let me just take a break for a minute, and I'll be right back.
And we're back.
Okay, so, all right, so here's what we've got. Now we're going to start filling in around all this, all right? So we're going to do it just like a puzzle. We're going to try to do that. We've got this big light section up in here. So one of the things we're going to use black and a little of this light green and white. We're going to mix those colors together and take a little black on our brush. And as we're, to get that light green color and more white, here we go. That's the color I want. And I don't want very much black. I want the sort of light green, and all the brush strokes are kind of going up like this. Maybe we'll put a little bit of blue with this. This is where we're going to start playing with these sort of gray colors. But notice the brush strokes are going up like that. This is some sort of wildly fanciful bush. Here we go. Let's take our Stay Wet palette has kept all kinds of stuff light. There we go. Now, I'm going to switch that color into a light blue. And I'm going to add a little bit of light blue up here like that. Come around like this. Maybe I want some of that color over here. I'm going to add it. Going to take some white, some light blue. Okay, I'm going to start adding.
The question's coming up. It looks like you're using a different brush than your normal angle brush.
I am. I'm actually using a silver cat's tongue Bristol-on because I want these little rounded strokes, right? So I'm using
Bristol-on
silver cat tongue. That's what I'm using. Okay. Now because I want to go into some darker colors, I'm kind of ignoring those. I'm going to go into some dark blue and a little bit of that my magenta. I want to come up here like this and say, here's some dark blue colors. like that. Maybe just touch a little bit. Everything's coming down at an angle like that. I know I've got some dark blue up in here, like that. I put this light green in here, and the reason I did that, it's a lot dark blue and magenta. The reason I did that, and I put that in there, okay, is because, let's see, it's a little more blue, is because I wanted to see where I was. And sometimes that stuff like that will help you orient where your stuff is. Okay, so now we're going to start. We know, for instance, we want something very dark next to her, even in this boat. So let's even put some of this dark green on top of that kind of soap green, sap green. Want something very dark next to her. Yeah. And really, honestly, when you think about it, it's kind of dark over here on this side. Let's say it's just this darker next to them. And you'll see where I'm going with this. And then, because what we're going to have to do is to get the gals to show up here, we're going to have to start layering. But at this point, all our brush strokes are vertical. And I'm going to come over here with this sap, kind of soap sap green. And this corner is all pretty dark up in here like that. And we'll just keep everything going down like that. And you'll notice that the brush does not have any water on it. We're going straight into the Salvador paints with that. Okay, I want to make sure we're going around it. Then take a little bit of the yellow oxide right here because I know I want it lighter right next to this boat. Right like that. Okay. Back to my dark green. Now, as I get down into the water, I'm going to start changing things. But for right now, this is fine. We're fine here. Okay. But what you're doing is you're blocking in. Okay. So let's take some dark green and some purple and say, I know I want it dark under this boat right here. So right in here like this, I'm going to say I want all this under this boat, dark green. And under here, I want this dark. And under here, I want this dark. See what I have? See what we're doing? Then we're going to take more of that dark green. Look at the globs of this. And we're just going to say that we know that we want it dark next to her. And all these brush strokes are vertical. Isn't that neat? I mean, when you think about that, a lot of times when you see me, when we do this, this type of painting, you wouldn't think it would be... You think, oh, this is just... What's complicated is, can you see the pattern? And you want to know a good exercise. If you do not happen to speak Chinese or Arabic or anything like that, right? Look up a few of their letters just on the internet. Find some of their letters in their alphabet and pick a couple and print them out on a piece of paper, okay? Maybe just one large one, okay? And then come back and look at the, take another piece of paper. Take a maybe, say, I don't know, do a timer. Look at it for, say, 10 seconds or 20 seconds. And then cover it up and then try to write that letter. Find a pretty complicated shape. And then if you can't do it easily, maybe look at it for however long you think until you've got it, right? And then look at it again, okay? And the chances are you're going to have to look at it a long time to see that shape. But as you get better at it, try, change the letters around. And as you get better at this, okay, I'm just going to make this all kind of dark in here, right? As you get better at this technique of doing that, you're going to find that this is the same technique you need for painting. Because basically you're looking at shapes and holding it. It's like, for instance, a pearl diver in Japan, she can go down there, one of those gals can go down there for, 2-3 minutes, hold her breath. Most of us can't hold our breath very long. So what you're doing is you're holding your mental breath. And when you're painting, when you're looking at this, I'm looking at this shape, how long can I hold it in my mind? Well, that's a good exercise to practice that, is you're teaching your mind to remember shapes. I don't think I've told anybody that before, have I, John?
Boy, no, that's worth the price of admission.
I'm telling you what, now I'm going to do something a little lighter in here, and because my brush is dirty, it's going to kind of gray and mix in here like this with all of this. Because my brush is dirty and this is all wet on the edges. And so this will not all be the same. Because remember, his oil paints never dried. I mean, they just stayed wet forever. So he could come back 10 minutes later and still do this. We have to do this. We're going to do something like this. We got to be pretty Johnny on the spot quick. We want to put a little blue in this water. We got to do it now to get that to happen. If you say we wanted a little blue there, we wanted something there, because otherwise it wouldn't work for us. Or we want something a little, lighter there. Remember, you're either mixing on the canvas or you're mixing on the
palette.
On the palette. We're not wiping our brush off the yellow oxide here like that. I'm going to wipe the brush off, get a little blue, maybe a little blue here. How about a light blue? I love it because you don't have to mix any colors. Remember, you're going over this wet. You see what I'm doing here with all the little reflections in the water? I mean, it's kind of neat, isn't it? I mean, people think, well, this has got to be hard. Well, kind of, if you don't know the order, it's the paint order. What is the paint order for anything? What is your paint order? And so when do I have to put on something that's pretty light, and when can I do it dark? Because right now I'm staying in pretty much those dark colors, and I've pretty much got my water in. Wouldn't you say so?
I think you got a good blockage.
I've kind of got it in here like that, or just come up here.
You have created the ugly painting.
Yeah, well, we've got it in here now. See, now so then we're saying, well, what goes next to this? What goes next to here? Some blue goes right next to there. So I'll take maybe a little lighter blue. Let's take a little lighter blue here. Got a little lighter blue that goes right next to here like that. And then it's up in here, and then we're not talking about it, right? Got a little bit of lighter blue up in here. A little more white with it. Here's a little bit of lighter blue up in here. Now this is dried enough where I can keep doing it. See what I'm saying? And you've got a cheat sheet. Somebody told you where the colors went, right? Absolutely. You know exactly where the colors went because you have that cheat sheet. Now, hi, I want to talk a little bit about the background of some of those old dead artists we've been doing. I like to call them ODGs because we can learn so much from them. And Karl Frieseke, or Frederick Karl Frieseke, Frieseke. Frieseke was German, and born in Germany. He was 1874. He died in 1939 in the United States. He spent his parents moved to the States for a while. He spent some time in Florida, went back to Europe. He claims that he was never influenced by Claude Monet, even though he rented a house like 2 doors down or something. Personally, looking at his artwork, think he was very influenced by him. He says that only impressionistic artist that he was inspired by was Renoir. You've got to look at his body of work and see what you think. I personally see a lot of Monet in him. But in any event, all those artists were influenced by each other. He's one of the impressionists. The Lady in the Garden, we've got one with this. It's on YouTube. It's one we did a few years ago, and it's one of my favorite paintings of his he's done. We've done a couple others too. And again, impressionistic painter. You can find an awful lot about him if you look up on Wikipedia. Just take a moment and read about his life and what he did and his works, because so much of his art evolved and changed over the years because of the artists that he hung out with and was surrounded by, and his friends. And that happens with all of us. So, you may see your artwork evolve too, and it's going to evolve every year one way or the other. Things maybe you like him. Maybe you never liked Impressionism, and now you're finding that you really like it. Or maybe you're what we call a sock folder, someone that likes very precise things, doesn't want a few little dots to make it look like something. But understand the genesis of how this happened and what you can incorporate in your own art style. I hope you enjoy the video of the first painting that we're doing now. And again, celebrating the old dead artists and what we can learn. if you like this style of painting, I would invite you to pop over to the Academy and really get some in-depth lessons on how to paint things like this. One of my favorite impressionist artists that was female was Mary Cassette. Here's one of her paintings that we're just re-releasing this week in the Academy. It was an older one that was on a very small canvas, and we're doing it larger. And again, you can see how this could go very nicely with what we're doing. But anyway, Academy of Fine Art and Acrylic Painting, personal art coaching available. This is just the thing to be able to do that, okay? Now, while this is drying, we're going to take a little angle brush, and we're going to finish our boat, okay? So we're going to finish our boat and our peeps in the boat, yeah? So let's just, I'm going to use that little flesh coloring color that they've got and just come on up here like this. I think we need to put a little white with that, maybe, and a little bit of burnt sienna. Try that. It's a little too orange. Okay, let's put that a little bit darker down here. Again, there was no faces. There was not that you just, if there was any faces, you barely saw them. So we're not even going to talk about that, right? And then on this gal's boat, let's see. Let's just do the boat. That's always fun. So we know we've got something white going across here like that. And this is the like the edge of the boat like that. There we go. So that's where your angle brush comes. Just pulling along here like that. See how I'm not trying to do one long line. What I'm going for is the kind of an off-white. It's not quite white. It's got a little blue in it. Okay. Yeah, yes and yes. And then there's like a little darker blue line underneath. I think we'll have. And then let's do some lighter color underneath here like this. This just using the kind of your zinc or the white that came in your Salvador kit. You can leave this dark line just by not painting it in. And then we've got a little bit darker blue under here. This actually comes down a little further than we had it. It comes like this up here to the front of our boat. Then we're going to change blues. And here's a little bit of the ultramarine blue back here like this with some white in it. And there's a little bit of white. See, just so fun. There's just a tiny bit of white right there. It's coming across like that. This was an oar that's coming here. And then here's the back of this boat. And then there was a white seat. You remember we talked about the white seat going at this angle here? Following the same angle as this, yeah? So
you make sure that stays parallel.
Yeah, if you get it, say, well, I don't understand what happened to my, let's see, and then this actually comes down like that. It doesn't touch the bottom, and it's up a little higher than I did it, so I'll change that and just make this darker again. So there's the oar, okay. Now already we've got something that looks more like a boat, yeah? And let's just put our girls in. So we've got, let's see, the colors we want kind of magenta and purple and blue. Those are the kind of the soft colors I want here. A little bit of white. So that her shoulders here, and then she's got this kimono on. There was a big craze for Chinese things and Japanese things for a while back then, and that was really big. And kimonos and stuff that women wore them. And which is kind of neat. So she's got something more like that. This is really almost like a kimono with the, let's see, I want to re-rag. So let's put that on for her. There was some white in front of this, like this, for instance, around her neck. Then there's her, so you want to then kind of suggest her outfit here. And it was lighter up here, where shoulders are, coming off like that. And then there was some of this white here, down here like that. And then her dress was whiter, like this. This is where the lightest part of this was, inside on the sleeve here. And the sleeve cut off at an angle here. The sleeve cut off. I need a new place to mix my paint. So I'm going to just do this to make sure I have the right color. And sometimes I'll do that. There we go. That's the color I want. And I'm going to say that the sleeve came this way. It was cut off, and then there was this peach color, or rather pink color, more of a magenta color right here. Okay, like that. A little bit of it hanging down here, and then just kind of on the side of this dress. And you can see the little corner under her armpit. You get these right, then the rest of it, you can fudge the whole thing, and you'll be fine. Okay, so get this stuff right. And then there was like her face was like almost like her chin was like at an angle here, like a heart-shaped chin, like that, right? And
the top of her dress.
Yeah.
That ankle cut.
Yeah, kind of an angle cut, right? And then she had this. Yeah, this was interesting because this line swept this way. It had a kind of a curve to it, which gave her a bit of a curve. Okay. And then there was a bit of this. There was a little tiny bit of yellow on this dress too. In there, kind of coming down into the boat here, like that. Down here at the bottom. And then she had a little bit of just the tiniest bit of a color at the bottom of the hem. And then she had dark hair kind of coming around here like this. We're going to start tightening her face up a bit now. Okay. And we're going to take the dark green paint and put her sleeve in, like there. So you see how the sleeve was like this kimono sleeve here. All right, and there was quite a bit of dark before you got down to the boat. Do you see that? You see how far her sleeve came to the top of the boat, which was then sort of a light purple, was that color. So that's what you're looking for. So when you're looking at something like this, you're saying, well, where am I? Where am I? That's where you are. And it's painted upside down if you're confused. But take a moment and do that. And just, I think I want some red and white. I want something pinker. I want a little pink in this dress. And I think that's what I'm missing here. For sure, that's what we're missing, a little bit of this pink color. We'll put tiny bit of that in her reflection. All right, so then, again, second coat on the umbrella, which is sort of this grade mauve color here, the second coat on this. And then there was a little bit of white. There's just the slightest bit of white, just kind of, just to suggest that it's an umbrella. Sometimes just a few brush strokes will say that's what something is. And then this one was shaped like that. So the umbrella up here was hidden by the leaves, but he was very clever and he did the umbrella shape here. Do you see where it kind of goes in and out like that? And everything came out at kind of a starburst. Did I see that? So again, people think, well, I have to be so particular. Well, kind of you do and you don't, right? And there's I know we're doing the premiere here, so probably we should have more chat. I get very focused on this, and it's very interesting to me. I'm seeing something I could change right now. He had this boat doing this, and the back of it curved around a bit, and I don't have it curving. The back of that, let's see, make sure I have some white out. The back of this curved like that. See that? And then the blue curved too. This curved a little bit like that. Yeah? Just, I don't know. Why did makes people always get, I'll tell you what, boats do people in. I don't know what that is, but boats do people in. You start painting boats and they just, and they're such simple shapes, but I'll tell you, I see more people flounder on boats. No pun intended.
Well, the flounder, grouper, come on, red snapper.
I know, John. It's just no pun intended. Okay.
But you're right. It seems like when we get the packs in for those, the boats, people have trouble with boats.
They do. They absolutely do. They have real trouble with boats. And I want to make sure I've got my white here like this. Sometimes you have to, if you're painting with the dirty brush, sometimes you'll find that I want to make sure I have that sleeve up there curving this way. And I don't think I have this one long enough, so here's what has to happen. This one has to come in a little bit. There you go, that sleeve. All right. So, girls and boats, yes and yes. And let's start putting in the, so I guess we got to do the other lady, right? So she's wearing, bless her heart, she's wearing
something a little fancier.
She's got a sort of a purpley, she's got a little hat on up here like this. That's got a little bit of this purple, blue, white color. Like that. It's kind of like this color. And the top of her hat is like this. She's got this little darker purple hat right like that. There you go. Okay, and then next to her, now this is key. She's got to show up. So what do you have to have? They told you. He told you. He said, look, this is like painting something like this is like doing an open book test. Just put the colors where he did. What came up around here is this hat. See how that little bit of light right there did that? There's that little bit of light, right green right here that we put, but we have to make darker. A little bit of light green right there, yeah? So when you're doing stuff like this, ask yourself, well, where else could I put that color? Could I put that color right here? Yeah, I could put it right there. All right, that's good, right? So now what? Hey, you guys, I've got two paintings here of a river, but you know what happens when you put them in order? They become a diptych. Diptych comes from a Latin and Greek word meaning two images that you put together. You know, it's been around for a long time. Triptych would be three. What's neat about a painting like this is that you can put them on the wall, separate them, and yet it's still one continuous piece of artwork. But each picture stands on its own. That's the trick. This one stands on its own as a painting. This stands on its own as a painting. But when you put them together, they really they become one big neat painting. And this is part of our Wave and Water masterclass, but that's not why I'm telling you about it. Someone will actually be able to have a chance to win this diptych along with their choice of this diptych. And let me show you the other paintings we're talking about. If you have been contributing to our Karen Little Scholarship Fund. So someone says, who's Karen Little? Karen Little was John's wife. She passed away about 10 years ago. They were married 40 years, very happily married. And she was a very generous person, did a lot of knitting and crocheting. And wherever she went, she was constantly giving people things. And, oh, that's so pretty. She'd give them a scarf. She just personified generosity and kindness. We want to do that. Our academy does that too. We thank you guys for the years of supporting us and for helping some of our students, continue in the academy longer. And so you guys, if you've been doing and contributing to us at those 3 spots I mentioned, thank you very much. And we hope you all have a chance to be entered in a drawing to win one of these original Ginger Cook paintings. It's our thank you to you. Here's a little Venice painting. We want to give people a choice. Every quarter from, I think it was, what did you say, December?
This one started in December, and this is through February. Through
February 28th, if you've donated at least $100 to our Academy of Fine Art and Acrylic Painting with gingercook.com. All the information is on down below. If you want to see, we've got 3 ways where you can do that. You have an opportunity to have your name in a fishbowl for every $100 donation for a chance to win these paintings. There's a lighthouse painting for a Wave and Water Masterclass. There's another Wave and Water Masterclass with the rocks and the sailboats. And I think this would be cool if you just did like a little rope frame around it. But in any event, that we will pick 3 winners, and the first person will have their choice of all of these, and the second person will then get to pick, and the third person will have whatever the last 2 are. I don't know what those would be, but anyway, it's our way of thanking you for contributing to our scholarship fund this quarter, and happy painting, and thank you guys from the bottom of our heart. Thank you so much. I see it. I see it. That's the trick. Are you seeing the shapes? When you look at your painting and you look at this painting, there's not a straight line here. It goes at an angle like this, right there at this corner where the sleeve is. The dress goes down here at an angle. Now, you wouldn't think that would make a difference, but watching, where you put a few dots on a few leaves, nobody cares, okay? You got some real leeway with that, but where she put this, and I need to change brushes and get a smaller brush, okay? So now I want to come up right here, make sure I have her shoulder right here like that. And just start up here like this and make sure that her shoulder is coming. Now this is a key, because if I don't get this right about here is where her shoulder's coming. Like even with ear, and then there's a little bit of grass or leaf stuff like this. So we're going to get rid of some of the this wild hairstyle that she has, right? Like that, kind of made her head a little bit smaller. See what we did? I mean, and we also gave her, let's see, and then we're going to suggest an ear by putting in a little bit of just a little bit of dot right there. We're not going to do her hair like that, but here we go. Here's hairstyle, yeah. And then we're going to take some blue, and we're going to say, there's the inside of her hat. Let's doing this, right like that. It's curves like that. There's the inside of this hat. And it's curving like that. And comes up in front like this and curves around. Yeah. Then we're going to take just blue and white. This is just ultramarine blue and white. These are the colors, right? And we're going to come up here with her shoulders here. And I'm not going to do every bit of whatever this lady's wearing. I don't even care. But I will go ahead and put the white in, like right next to her. Like this was white right here, right? It's some sort of little bib thing that she had, right? Now, how are we showing her arm? We're showing her arm with a few brush strokes going this way, and then we're going to put a hand, and we're showing her arm doing this, the same thing, like that, and then we're showing her arm, okay? And then we're going to say that she's got, let's see, just come across here like that, and then she's got little stripes. Now, I think this brush is too big for that, but let's just say we've got some stripes. We're just going to indicate, and the brush is too big, indicate some little light stripes coming down here like that, like this. And then this is kind of her dress is doing that. And I don't have quite enough white to do this. Probably could use a Posca pen for this, because as small as I'm making this is a little big. And we'll do this under here too. We're just going to suggest a few little stripes under here like that. So you guys adjust. And let's give her a white collar on her dress. You're going, huh? I mean, aren't you kind of doing that? And then we'll just do a little bit of white and peach with that for the hands right there on this one. There's a little white and peach right there for a hand. And then this arm touches right here like that, curves around and touches the side of the boat here. Don't get big globs, wipe them off. Okay. Just gonna, that's too orange. Let's do white, and burnt sienna is a good flesh tone for something that's just, it's not too yellow. That's all right. Okay. And let's do, again, I only care about, I'm just kind of, it's going to be darker under the hat, so we'll darken her skin tones under the hat a little bit more than they would be here. And then she's got above her hat, now this is key too, maybe these were some sort of flowers, but there's something above her hat, so we'll do that. We'll do that too. I like it. She's got something on her hat, so we know it's a hat. Now I'm not going to put the oars in, and I'm not happy with the brush strokes on this. I'm not happy with the dress, so I'm going to take those out and use some other implement to put this in. I'm really not liking that. So rather than just put up with that, something like that you don't like, paint it out, dry it, do it back. Here's a little bit of white right here next to her arm. And I know I like these, but this brush was just a bit big to try to do those with, okay? But we've got our reflections, yes and yes. We need something in here like that, down here in the center of that. And then you want to suggest an arm here like that. So remember, the reflections are just nothing compared to what everything else is. So you think, let's see, and then I can, and then I always ask myself, where else can I use this color? I can go ahead and put this second coat of this. Maybe I can widen my boat a little bit. Now it's time to just start doing the foliage. Yeah, yes, and yes. You guys, don't you think this is easier than you thought?
I'm shocked.
Aren't you kind of?
Coming together.
Yeah, because, I mean, like, for instance, here's some yellow and white. Now we know, let's just talk about that for a minute. Let's just say, where's that little bit of yellow and white goes? It goes right there, right there. So, if you have water on your brush, you're not going to get a good, clean line. But we know you're going to get something right here. We know we want something right here under the boat. Something right there. We know we want some little, let's just take some white, paint a little bit of yellow. And it's going to kind of look a little green here against our green. And let's just start doing some little leaves here next to our stuff. They told you kind of where they go. Something up here like that. There we go. Yeah. Yeah. And then what do we got over here? I'm just going to kind of move across as we go. Right next to the umbrella, we've got these dark colors. We'll start putting in some of those. Just a little brush like this. It's perfect for that. Notice the direction.
Number 0 Bristol on.
Yeah. Notice the direction of the brush strokes. Okay. Okay.
These are leaves, so they can be a little bit more random.
Yeah, so they're just, we know it's dark right there next to this boat on the edge. See there? Like that. So I guess the thing I would tell you when you're painting something like that is, what am I missing here? Am I missing something? We know we've got some lights going. Let's see, it's got to be lighter still. No, I've got some light colors up in here and all little brush strokes coming down like this. These fun little leaves, and there's something kind of light next to her. Figure out where the lights go. Don't do too many. If you want this to look pretty authentic, don't do 2 or 3 brush strokes and then get more paint. That's important. Don't just try to do 10 brush strokes with the same color. Does that make sense? You're going to run out of color on your brush at some point where you're not going to get the thickness that you want. So what you want is to just, and look at the direction. See, these are all kind of going this way. They're not polka dots. Some are overlapping. Yeah. And
they all line up in rows and columns.
Yeah, they absolutely don't. Some of them curve a little bit, like parentheses. Some are curving this way. You've got a few of these kind of curving that way, like these are kind of coming down like that, more of a light blue color. So as you change colors, think, all right, well, where else am I putting things? Okay. Where can I put some of this color? Could I put some over here? I've got all these beautiful blues here in this kit. Can I put some over here? Can I add a couple of these blues? Maybe it's darker. I know I've got some darker blues up in here that are coming over this green this way. This is just ultramarine blue. Okay, now I've got some of these colors coming in here like that. Maybe one down here, coming over here. So remember we talked about where that blue was, that bright blue. Let's just put it on again. Or dress again. I want a little bit brighter. Then I've got some of that blue coming here. But at some point I'll have to dry that. But here, this is dry over here. So I can add some of this blue here. I can add some white and purple and blue. Now this is key. When you're doing this, try to get the colors. Like, so here's some light purple that's coming on over here. That's just doing this all by itself and maybe up in this tree. So does this go anywhere else? Could I put this anywhere else and it wouldn't look right? Okay. What are the little leaf shapes next to them? So I know, for instance, that as I see this, I know that there was a dark shape right here. There was something dark right here on the bow of this boat. Okay, something dark right here under her kimono. Yes. See, and you need the dark here for her to stay in the boat. You need to have it dark next to her. But then you need, what do you need? Just some sort of blue-green colors. Some faded blue-green colors in here like that. Isn't that fun? And then there was over here, I'm looking at this going over here. There was there was something lighter right next to her coat. There was like a light one right there. Something lighter, and then some lighter grays over here. Kind of some purples. Okay? And probably have to put some more, gonna have to put some more white out on my canvas, but I know I've got something lighter coming over here. And if you keep going over light and dark, you're going to end up with one color. At some point, we're going to take a second and dry and maybe talk to you a little bit about this artist, tell you a little bit more about him. Oh, I see. This is her, she's got a sleeve doing this. See, and I put the brush in the water, and I didn't wipe it off. And now I have water on the brush. And I tell you what, you can't paint this if your brush is damp. So there. He said here that, like, for instance, here's your kimono. And then she's got a hand going out this way. We don't know why. And then there's like a little blue cuff. And then there's
I'm not really sure that's a hand, boss.
I think it is. I think her arm's coming out that way. No? You don't think that happened?
I think she has her arm down on her hip.
Well, this one is. It's a little yellow in my white, which makes it a little bit brighter. Okay, but whatever. You decide.
Yeah.
You decide. I don't know. That's what it looks like to me, but maybe it doesn't look like that to you, right?
Right. You interpret it.
How do you think of it? It is, right? All right, that's the key. What do you think it is? Is there some orange up here in the leaves? I see some coming up here somewhere in the leaves a little bit. Maybe you could have done an orange underpainting on this. You know that, John? There's a little bit of light on top of her hair.
Not that much orange up there, but yeah, you could have.
You know, you could have. Maybe it should have
could have
been.
been one of those split underpaintings, orange on the top and something different on the bottom.
Could have been there. But yeah, here's like a little bit of an orange. This is right in front of the boat here. There's like a little bit of an orange tree, kind of a yellow orange tree, right, like this. He's trying to say, you know, and then there's this brighter color right here, which I didn't get. A little bit of bright right there and across the boat. That pushes out underwater, by the way, in case you were wondering why you would do such a thing.
Kind of like leaves or something floating by.
Yeah, the stuff's floating. You know, there's definitely flotilla here, right? and you know, so then you've got, I know I've got something dark right here next to my little light stem on this tree that's going up like this. See? So the thing that I think that the Impressionists did that was so clever, for instance, like there was all this light up in here, see, and it's just kept being overlapping with the brush strokes. See what I'm doing here? Like that. Then he came over and did something like this, where he came and did, okay, so here's a leaf. He implied a branch.
Mm-hmm.
Like that.
Just kind of
Maybe
laid in front of the other guys.
And painted it in front of the other guys over the something dark and implied a branch. Which is kind of neat in itself, right? And I'm trying to see what else I can do with this, you know, right where I'm around the figures here. There was like some lighter stuff in here next to the boat. All this is kind of wiggly, right? Do you like that? Wiggly? We used to have something called a Piggly Wiggly. Did you ever have a Piggly Wiggly?
Oh, yeah, Piggly Wiggly.
Piggly Wigglies, yeah? I'm going to make this a bit brighter here. This lighter blue. So I love these blues. Oh, then the Salvador kit, because see there,
We got lots of blues.
There's lots of blues and greens and stuff here. See, then there's just these little blue bits down here on the boat. See, look at that. Isn't it neat? So how are we doing here? I did mean to make like a 6-hour video.
Oh, you're only an hour into a boss. You're doing fine.
Am I? All right. I'm going to change brushes and go back to some of these gold colors. And like right up in here, there's that other brush that I had. And I'm just going to start mixing colors like this.
Get back to the cat tongue.
Get back to the cat tongue. Let's see, here's some colors here. Here's some lighter colors here. These are all kind of moldy, moldy gray-greens on the bank, right? Like this. We're not talking too much about those, right? Which is fine, right? And then we've got it, you know, I don't know. He had fun with that, right? And he's got something kind of light coming up this way. Just to suggest this is growing up. And this is in front of that, right? All right, so good. So far, so good. And he said this was, here's this sort of grade cuff. We had some of this lighter grade colors here. Okay. Then down here, this is really, this little pile of, we got this lighter bit in the water right here. And it's over kind of the, that's kind of your bank. All right, so far so good. This it sounds so funny. We're so close to being done.
It's a very impressionistic painting.
Yeah, I mean, it's just...
It's left up to the viewer to put it together.
I want to get a little bit more of the kind of this lime green color that's coming down here like this. Some of these little leaves are kind of doing their own thing. Then I've got stuff coming this way. Let's see, let me just, that's too much paint on the brush. So I'm going to we need to have that more lime green. Just put, you know, you need to, you know, to gray a green or turn it more olive And when I say lime, I really mean olive. You need to do that. All you need to do is just add a little red to it. There we go. So something like this. And then he had, this again, I just want to lighten this color. He had this, see these little bits of light reflection, which is really sort of that medium blue and white.
Looks like it'd be the sky.
Yeah, it's like the sky's reflecting, and this is going this way. Do you see that? All the brush strokes are going.
Yeah, it's coming through the trees above.
Yeah. And let's see, I need to, if you get the wrong color, just add a little bit more white here. There you go. See, here's this, just kind of going across. You don't want to get too crazy with me, but we're going across there, and then we've got some over here too. They're a little bit darker over here. Let's see, but they have a little bit of a purple tone to it. So let's do, how do we do that? We're in the ultramarine blue and magenta and white, which will give us a very interesting kind of purpley blue. Do you see that? Almost like a periwinkle.
Great color.
So let's do some of that over here. Couple of that, some of that color. A little of that color in here. Not too much of this, but there's just, they told you where to put it, right? And there's one in the corner. Okay, so see how we're starting to get our water in where it feels like it's water. And I like that periwinkle color. It was almost on this boat right here. See there on the bottom of this boat, right like that. Yeah. Okay. And anywhere else? Well, there might have been some up here. But not, I really see it more in the water. Okay.
Yeah. That's where I'm seeing that color.
I'm seeing that color in the water. So now I don't have that color. I don't want that color anymore. I'm going to take a minute, dry everything, and finish this up.
Hello, and welcome to the Academy of Fine Art and Acrylic Painting. It can be found at acrylicpaintingwithgingercook.com. Are you ready to take your acrylic painting to the next level? Are you tired of all the chit-chat that Ginger and John do during their live YouTube shows? Well, this is the place to come to. You can start off at the very level of just signing up as a pink member for $14.95 a week, and you'll have access to all of the red membership and below lessons. Those lessons include a lot. We have a lot of lessons, anywhere from one cookie all the way up to a full box of cookie. We use the cookies as a term of representing the difficulty or the challenge, as the case may be. You can have access to our latest tutorials. Again, at $14.95 for a week trial. You can do this as often as you want. Here are 12 pages of lessons, and there is 24 on the page. You have over 300 lessons right here. And included with the lessons, you'll have all the reference materials you need, the traceables, the originals if available, and if we can share them. You have everything you need to get started. When you're ready to step up your membership and you want to take advantage of the personal art coaching, those are available at the red, blue, and purple membership levels. You can upgrade at any time. You can come back. You can downgrade at any time. What you want to be able to do, though, is improve your art, and we highly recommend giving us a try. Try us for a week. Look around, kick the tires, as they say, and see if we can't help you become a better artist.
Okay. Now, you guys, I'm going to show you a trick we've shown people in the Academy, some of our advanced lessons. the best, this is going to help you so much. If you write this down, write down the product name. I don't own the company. I'm just telling you, write down the product name. And I'm going to show you something that will save your drawing. Save your paintings when they're just a total mess and you're not sure about anything. This is so good for portraits. It's good for anything you're painting where you're thinking that maybe as you paint it along, you maybe got it off. You were incorrect. So we're going to take a sheet. This is called Duralar. It comes in these sheets of, you can use it again. I'm going to just get a brand new one for this so you're not confused. I can use that again. It comes in these clear plastic sheets. Okay. Let's say I use this for something, so I'll just use it again now. Take a Sharpie, fold it over your reference photo, okay? Now take a Sharpie. I think I have a black one here. I guess this is a, let's see, is this going to write up for me? Okay, so I'm going to put my glasses on. I might even do it over, this is the exact same size, right? This one, John?
No, the other one is not.
No, okay, so I'm going to have, yeah, it has to be the exact same size as what your traceable. In other words, you're going to put it over your traceable, right?
Yeah, that'd be
that would be what I want you to do. Put it over your traceable. Then what I want to do is trace around this.
Some of the key parts.
The key parts, anywhere you think you might possibly, through no fault of your own, have gotten off, right?
We've used this on the Brumley painting.
Done a lot of this on a lot of the paintings that, because it's easy if you, for instance, I suggest if you're doing like animals and you get the eyes off, this is so easy to,
it just throws the whole painting off. And you're looking at it and not realizing what's wrong unless you do something like this. You go, there's something wrong, I just don't know what it is, and this really helps.
And this is also a double check. This will just, I did not invent this. I want to give a shout out to my friend Kim, who suggested this. See anything else, John?
No, I think you got it. Those are the key components.
Yeah, it was now, see that? Now, take this and lay it on top of your painting. Line up your boat.
Line up the best you can and see what you're missing.
And see if you're missing anything. All right. So I might have made her a little taller than in the picture. This gal's okay. She's a little smaller. Kind of made this, and she's a little smaller here on this side. Let's see on the reflections. Do I not have this? Let me just make sure I have this situated in the right place where I traced it, because you move anything, it'll change it a little bit. Line this up as best I can with her. Yeah, here we go. So now where am I off? Well, I'm off right there. Because remember, this didn't trace worth a darn. You guys remember that when we were tracing this on? This was just pretty worthless the way it was tracing on. Okay, right there, yes, and right here. I don't hate my umbrella, but might tweak it a little bit, right?
Bring it in just a little bit.
All right, and we've got pretty much okay here, except that I've made her a little bigger than he did, so I can kind of maybe take the afro hair down a little bit, right? And maybe make that a little bit smaller there. Cut this shoulder off a little bit right there. And just cut that hair down a little bit, right? I kind of like her with the hat.
Leave her alone.
I pretty much got her where she needs to be.
Yeah, she's just a little taller.
But the boat, okay. but the boat is good.
Mm-hmm.
The boat is good. Yes.
That's usually the hard part for people.
And that's your trick. You should make sure your painting's dry before you do that. Okay. So I didn't have too much to correct. No. But I'm telling you what, that is the Cast Me Out. This is called Duralar. We have it in our Amazon store just for your convenience, so you can find it easily. I guess you can you can clean those acetate sheets up, I guess, with them and use them again. I haven't had success with that. Kim says she wipes hers off all the time. I don't know. Maybe she's doing something different than I am. But in any event, you've got you have the ability to
check and fix.
To fix. And that's the trick, to figure out how to fix it. See, I want to make this a little bit wider here than we had it. Okay, that reflection. And the same with this one, a little bit wider here with this reflection, comes out a little bit further. Okay. And the hat came out. See, there was a hat here, and I kind of did hair and not a hat. So the hat came out wider here. See. See. So those are some things that can just save you a lot of time and stress, yeah? Because I'm going back, I painted, I don't know what's wrong, we've never shown that on YouTube before, but that is just absolutely, to me, that's invaluable, knowing how to do that. Let's want this a little pinker. Okay, and I'm going to come down here and say I want this robe, the whole thing pinker, and then she's got a little bit of this blue here right next to her neck on this side. And again, we're not, like I say, you're not really putting the faces in. So, all right, so then what did we know for sure? Well, we know that, for instance, we need to put, aren't you glad you learned that? If I taught you one thing this time, that is a trick that will help you forever. All right, so we know that we want to shorten this up a little bit here. The same thing with this. This just got a little bit, this is a little shorter. Okay. This is coming down, right, like that. And we have to put the oar in. And let's see, did we want to do anything with her here? There's something a little bit lighter under here. Let's see, I want a different brush. Make sure there's no water. I want this a lighter green here next to here. Let's see, how am I going to do that? More yellow. Well, here's a light yellow. Let's do that. We want this pretty light green next here. Just all the brush strokes are going down. Like that. There we go. Some lighter green right next to here. Yes. See that? Some lighter green. Because you remember, acrylics dry darker. And let's put some lighter colors in that. like this. Wow, huh?
Coming alive now.
It's coming alive. Because, again, as you paint things, acrylics dry darker. So maybe you thought you had these highlights in the water and you don't have them now, right? It's all right. Don't panic. We're all good here. And here's some of this yellow oxide color up here in this tree. This, I think, is a weeping willow tree.
No, I'm not going for that one.
You don't think that's a weeping willow tree?
Nope.
Oh, I do. Well, but I could be wrong, you know? Just
No, you couldn't be wrong. You're the queen.
well, that's true. There's that. Then kind of a little something brighter along here. Something a little lighter right here in the water. Look here on this right side. Brush direction being everything. Not having a lot of water on the brush. Let's see. She's got some, these are kind of coming this way, like deliberately. Some little colors up here. A little bit of this gold up in here. Something next to her. Love this gold next to the boat. Want something a little whiter right there. Right to this. This is a light one. It's a light one right here. We're just going to play with a couple little light ones, yeah? See how that's... Light will bring your eyes, your attention over to where you want something to be. He planted some little flowers over here. I'm not sure why, but he did a couple. Kind of the way I told you not to do it, kind of polka dots, but all right, we're going to cluster them a little more. And then he did some purple flowers, kind of some magenta flowers. He did a little magenta flower right here and some blue ones. I guess we can put a few of those there. Because, you know, we're the last of the big spenders here. And let's get some of that magenta color coming off this way. And this reflection. Okay, and we haven't put I know we still have to put the oar in. And her dress. But right now I'm just saying, where else can we put some of these beautiful bright colors? And that's the fun part. A painting like this to me is so fun. Because here's that beautiful blue. A little bit of white in it. You have to paint it to get out. Here's these bright blue colors. Here's that bright blue. This isn't as bright as I want it. I'm going to go right.
It was very bright over in that corner.
Yeah, I'm going to go right over this blue. Was just right out of the tube with some brighter blue. That's this one, primary cyan. That might be phthalo, you guys. Okay. Well, you guys, I don't think I can look. And it's got a little bit of these blue dots in here too. It's a little bit of this blue in front of this tree. And there's some white in some of this blue, and I think that's what I'm missing over here. You know, it's never just one color on the brush. So there we go. You got some of these colors over in here. And a little bit of this lighter blue up in here. And let's take the boat all the way up here like this. Let's take that boat. Bring it around like that. Yeah. I want this to be a bit darker. Right here. So what can I do with that? Maybe just this color. And now we'll do the other little brush. And it's got this. I love these impressions. They're so fun, aren't they? These guys and their colors and their little dots of stuff. Right? Here's this little bright yellow here, something bright yellow right here. Something bright. Oh, goodness. These guys. And then they did a few little lighter stuff here. And then they did little lights, almost like little light and blue lights. Just if we're happy with all that, they did all this here. It's just whiter. Choop, 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 choop. I'm telling you what, this is a little bit like polka dots on a flag. Okay, these little dots here, the guy had a lot of fun with this. You want a couple things going sideways to show that it's water. And then he did something here to show it was like the shore. Oh man, this becomes so entertaining. Remember, when you get a glob of paint like that, roll the brush. Roll the brush. Don't sit with the glob. Here, let's move this back over here. Here, I want this dark right here, where the boat beats the reflection, right, like a V shape in here, like that. Okay, see where the reflection meets the boat. That's a dark line, and it's still, even in his picture, it's a dark line. It's maybe, don't make a continuous black line, but you can put just a line to make sure you have that. Yes. Okay, so then once you're happy with that, then we know that for instance, here's one of the oars right here. Okay, and then we know we need an oar right like here from her hand, like this. So let's take a clear piece of triangle, right, like that, and say that first off, there's a we're going to go at a triangle or shape like this. You see where I'm going up here? I'm going to put a dot right here, and I'm going to say that there is a white line from here. Make sure you're dry, otherwise you'll be unhappy. Okay, about like that. I'm going to come across. So I want a little yellow in it, a little white. I think I'd be better off to do an angle brush than that round one.
I don't think so.
I'm not happy with that round one at all. I think an angle brush would be better. Okay. Now, I want to come under that with a, the brush is clean, right? So I need to come under that with a, just, again, this is why you kind of narrow it up, rinse, wipe, swipe, kind of use a clean brush and water, kind of thin that out, a little bit wider than I wanted, okay? And then here, I'm going to do the same thing here. This is doing this and coming across here, and it goes to there. There's the, or it gets like that, does that. And it's more narrow up on this end. It's on the other side. You got to use the brush there. It's on the other side of her hand, comes through here like that. There's going to be the hand's there, and then it comes here, and a little bit wider as it goes down to here. Okay, with me? And then what he did, which was ever so clever, we're going to be clever too. Let's put out some ultramarine blue. Then what he did was he took some ultramarine blue and I think white. Okay, and then he came down here over this. So he kind of crossed over this oar and broke this line up. See that? Yes and yes. And this is too dark right there. So you've already painted something, and you know it's too dark. What are you going to do about it? Well, what I would do about it is take some zinc white.
Lighten it up.
And lighten it up without changing the color. So I'm going to flatten out the brush like that. Come up in here like this. I'm going to lighten up this color here without really changing much of anything. Let's see if they think I'll put a little bit more of the white here on her front here. Okay, so if you need to lighten something up, zinc white is a good one because it's a little transparent. It'll start to keep the color underneath a little bit more than, say, you would otherwise. Yeah. Okay. You can do you've got that, you've got the leeway with that. And so the only thing that we're missing now are the stripes on her dress, which I pretty much feel like I have to put in with a Posca pen at this point, and then maybe blur them out. But they've got a, for instance, I know that there's like a little collar right here.
His painting is probably a lot larger than ours is.
Oh yeah, it was.
You have all the lines in that he does.
Okay. So see by doing that we've, and then I want to do the same thing here, just a few on here like that, a few little white ones on here. And
here we go.
And just kind of, could you put some more detail on her? Could you do that a little bit more? Yeah, you can. I mean, you could take another, 30 minutes maybe, and you're laughing, you could, right?
Maybe put something 30 minutes for another hour.
You can take another 30 minutes, another hour. You can sort of darken the colors, But you understand what you've got now. This got a little, see? Didn't take that much to paint this. And, and you've got these darling little ladies in their fun little kimonos and their little, in their little nice little boat. And then what you got to come back and do is just go back and, whiten stuff up, and that need to, maybe the brush was slightly dirty when you did the white, so it doesn't show up as much as you want. You go back and you can make a few, there was even a light line under here too, see? Part of it didn't go all the way across, it ended with her, right? Then there were a few little, remember this was, there's some brighter yellow over here. There's this, just, and then there was a couple little dots of yellow right there, but, can you wake it up someplace and not another? Yeah. But there you have it, you guys. Our gal's in a boat. And I think that I'm pretty happy with that. I mean, I think that we really have the essence of this. I think I will put something light right next to her head. so she shows up, right? But they're showing up, and honestly, how fun was that? Yes? Yes and yes? You need to go back up, and then when you varnish this too, that'll come alive a little bit more. So painting the gal in the boat, I think was, I don't think you're gonna find that as challenging as you thought. We'll just kind of lighten this up.
A fun little painting to do.
I think so, John. I think people will be, they're just, let's gonna make this a little wider right there. Constantly, let's see, I want her chin to be a little bit lighter right there. But, and actually I'm gonna give her more hair. I liked it when I had more hair. She needs a little darker hair. Over here, let me just roll the brush and have some paint on it. There we go. Well, that makes me happier. There we go. And then they need, I'm going to playing with this. I made, when we put it up there, the picture reference, I may have played a little more with it, but basically, you guys have got the idea how you would paint this. And I hope you had fun with it. We're this whole month on YouTube, we're going back and talking about the oldie guys, ODGs, and again, you see me constantly, looking for things I could change, and I just see one more thing, and you're going, how could there be another thing? Well, this umbrella came down further this way on the boat, so I'll change that. People say, well, how do you know when you're done? Well, when it looks like the other picture, right? So we can start with that, and then my white bench dried. Did you see that? My boat dried. My white seat dried. Like that. That's no good. Yeah. There we go. There. All right. I pretty much
red flash, and let's call it a night.
Let's give it a red flash, John, and call it a night. We're going to do that. We just lost our white on our girl. That's all. If you don't have enough light, none of these people show up. Does that make sense? All right, red slash on the girl. We're done. I'd play with this all night and just enjoy chatting with you and explaining why I'm doing it. If you like these kind of videos where it's just me talking, all the videos in the Academy where we do these step-by-step videos, it's just me talking to you, explaining why I'm doing stuff. But if you remember the main things about this, kind of the main points that we did, I think that the one that you may not know about was that Duralar, to make sure your image is correct, is probably one of the best tips I've given on YouTube. And I would strongly suggest that you consider trying that, and let me know in the comments what was the tip that you got tonight. What was it that really, brought this home for you?
With you.
Struck a chord. Yeah. What brought this home for you? What was it? Right.
I thought you were getting the red flash.
I was, but then I got to seeing stuff, and then I thought, well. And then I got to seeing stuff, and I'll tell you what. When you look at this as our reference photo for the entire painting and for this thing will also be on our website for Orange members and above. And if you see any changes I've made after we're done, see if you can see them.
Thanks, everyone. We'll see you next week for another exciting episode.
Bye.
Bye.
Well, you guys, I don't think I can look at another commercial about how to unstop the toilet, or maybe you two can learn to draw. That we have to have those in our video in order to kind of cover some costs. But I thought it would be fun, as long as we were doing it, to put a commercial in for ourselves. So here's the commercial from me to you. I want you to have a wonderful day. I want you to be the artist you can be. I want you to get up in the morning and say, today's the day I'm going to be happier than I was yesterday. This is my commercial in wishing you the bestest, happiest day of your life. And art hugs from John and I.
I'm a student, I say with glee, of Ginger Cook's Academy. Take your time and do not rush. Use ruby satin, silver brush. Don't use black and mix the green. Learn what blend and grayscale mean. Yes, I hope each day to earn coaching praises as I learn. I'll be an artist, wait and see. Ginger means the world to me.